Friends, I want to share a mindset shift that has been helpful for me as of late. I was recently traveling and I had a great many travel adventures that really taught me some lessons about trust, faith, and flow, and resistance. To make some long stories short, I was flying into somewhere in Texas and my second flight got way delayed to the point where I was worried that I was going to have to spend the night in another city before being able to make it to my final destination. And I was in huge resistance. I was really stressed out. I was really trying to control, to figure it out. I was frustrated. I was anxious. I got to where I was going just fine, but I spent at least 2, maybe 3 hours really being in a very not fun feeling place, stressed, overwhelmed, anxious, trying to figure things out. Mental activity. So then at the end of this experience, I was planning to leave and begin my journey back home, and more travel issues happened. I could not get a ride. I could not get an Uber or Lyft ride out of the place where I was located. It was telling me that the drivers weren't available. It was telling me it was gonna be, 4 times the regular amount of money. 2 hours of that went by of me feeling that stress, me feeling that anxiety, me trying to push and force and control and get the app to work. And then I had that realization of wow, this is a parallel. This is how I started this journey. Is this really how I want to be responding right now? So I took a pause. I stopped trying. I put my phone down. I just sat in radical acceptance. I felt the emotions. I cried. And then I processed. I journaled and I unpacked. Why is it that I feel so immediately drawn towards control? Why is my reaction and my response the second things outside of my control start to get a little wonky? Why is my immediate response to try and fix it and control it and manage it and force it to be what I think it should be? And as I unpack that, I realized that it was really for me a question of empowerment versus disempowerment. When I'm in a state of disempowerment, I feel like I need to control, I feel like I need to force, I feel like I need to fix, I feel like I'm the one who has the answers, I'm the one who can make the thing better. When I'm in a state of empowerment, I feel okay no matter what. If my travel plans get delayed, I feel okay. If something happens, an obstacle appears in my course of direction, I feel okay. In a place of empowerment, I know that I'm okay because I can see a much wider picture. I can see a much wider image. I can hold a much greater context of the overall trajectory. I can understand that okay, being inconvenienced by a few hours in the grand scheme of things really is not that big of a deal. That paradigm is coming from a place of empowerment. That paradigm knows that I've got me, I'm safe, I'm gonna figure it out, even if the external reality isn't exactly how I wanted it to be. So when I applied this, sat, processed, journaled, got to this place of realizing that I was disempowering myself by allowing myself to be so thrown off by something unplanned in my reality, I'm gonna tell you what, within 5 minutes, somebody on the property that I was at, I was all by myself sitting there for 3 hours on my phone trying to get these people to come pick me up and could not get it. Completely by myself, didn't see anybody else during that amount of time. Within 5 minutes of getting myself to that place of peace and acceptance and back into a state of empowerment rather than disempowerment, somebody showed up to help me, the app on my phone suddenly started to work again, and I got out of there within 20 minutes. Now, I'm not claiming I understand all the mechanisms of how the universe works, but I do believe in energy, and I do believe that the energy we put out is what we draw back to us. That's just physics. If I'm putting out negativity, if I'm putting out fear, stress, anxiety, that's more likely what I'm gonna be receiving back. If I'm putting out peace, acceptance, love, trust, that's more likely to be what I'm drawing back to me. This is the underpinning of the law of attraction, whatever we want to call it. This is physics, this is science, this is reality, this is a universal law. So the second way this applied to me is that as I was finally flying home, my second flight got delayed again, and delayed again, and delayed again. We all got onto the plane, there was some mechanical issue, we got off of the plane, it was midnight already, it was uncertain as to whether or not we would even be leaving that night. Again, I was presented with a choice point. Am I gonna slip into disempowerment, or am I gonna stay in a place of empowerment? I could be stressed about it, I could be frustrated about it, I could be anxious about it. That doesn't change the situation, right? Like, what's happening is happening already. I'm only in control of how I feel. So again, I was in this place of empowerment. I was in trust, I was in flow. And I ended up having the most amazing connection with the person who was sitting next to me, who initially I hadn't interacted much with him, but then once we were off of the plane, we connected and we ended up talking for like 3 hours as we were waiting for the flight. We were able to get back on the flight. We made it home at like 2 a.m. It was a really, really late night. And again, I'm not saying that like my attitude is the only reason why we were able to fly that night and didn't have to end up spending the night in the airport, which was a very real possibility. But I do think those things matter. I do think how we feel matters in terms of what our reality reflects back to us. And in a situation where I could have been tired, exhausted, frustrated, anxious, am I gonna get home tonight? Am I gonna get enough sleep? Do I have all the things that I need? Instead, I was able to enjoy a really wonderful interaction, and the time went by like that. So this is the lesson that has been showing up in my reality lately. I got a flat tire last night too, and like had that same choice point. Do I want to respond from disempowerment, or do I want to respond from empowerment? Again, I chose empowerment. I chose to be lighthearted about it. I chose to trust. Okay, there was like a moment when I was like, crap, shit, I don't know what to do. But once I got past that initial shock, I was able to choose empowerment. I was able to choose trust. I was able to have a good attitude about it. And that made the whole process so much smoother, because that's the other thing. When we're in a state of disempowerment and we're feeling that like control and rigidity and like, I have to make this happen now, we're gonna be fumbly. We're gonna make mistakes. Our body's overwhelmed. We're in a tight state of contraction. Like, that's not the place to be making decisions. That's not the place to be directing our life from. So I just wanted to share these stories because it is very clear to me that the universe is teaching me right now how to have patience, how to be in a state of empowerment, how to not let my power be swayed by the external conditions that might be happening around me, and how to choose that I can trust in myself and that I can see the bigger picture, the broader context, and recognize the little stuff is sometimes just little, and shit happens, and it doesn't always have to turn into a huge big deal. There are a lot of things in this world that we are not in control of, but very often we are in control of how we feel. Very often we are in control of how we respond to things. This is what I'm learning and sharing it with you in case maybe it might serve you well, in case you might be learning some of these same lessons too. All right, bye for now.